and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Fight for Life, a pro-life radio show discussing the ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, board member and executive director of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And I'm Jessica, logistics specialist at First Choice Pregnancy Services.
We are ambassadors for the unborn. Welcome to the show.
And welcome, Las Vegas. It's so wonderful to be here with you today.
It's wonderful for
we have a guest today. We have Melisa from First Choice,
yes.
An advocate there at our wonderful Crisis Pregnancy Center. We say, I've said Crisis Pregnancy Center for so long, but really it's a pregnancy help center.
Right.
Is a more accurate way to describe First Choice. And Melisa, you have you've been. Tell me something about. Well, first of all, how long have you been working with First Choice?
Well, I mean, as an advocate, I've been working there for about a year and a half now. But before that, obviously supporting as much financially as possible. The banquets, also praying outside the clinic with my children and stuff. But yeah, that type of stuff.
And of course, obviously, you're still participating and helping them today. Obviously, that's why you're here today.
Right. The radio a couple times.
And so, for those of you who don't know, first of all, First Choice is a pregnancy help center that is focused on ministry towards women and families who are pregnant but may have some issues one way or another with their pregnancy. For example, some ladies perhaps are contemplating abortion. Other ladies might say, well, I haven't made up my mind. Maybe there's some housing issues. Maybe there's some boyfriend issues. Maybe there's some legal issues. Sometimes it gets a little difficult, some of the problems that some of our young ladies face. And what they have, what is available to them is First Choice, because First Choice is there to help them.
Correct.
And you guys charge for every patient that comes in, you guys charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars, don't you?
Absolutely. No. Actually, that's the whole point. A lot of people will come to us just because they know all of our services are free. We will even experience women that come in knowing that they're planning at that point to abort their child, but they want to get the free ultrasound because that way it saves them money on the backside. With that, though, we have the opportunity to help them to understand the choice they're about to make, and plant some seeds of wisdom, present the gospel. It's always amazing to me how many women come in and they're like, I don't want to have the counseling. I just want to skip over that. I'm like, unfortunately, that's not an option. If you want the ultrasound, that's part of the package. And it's amazing how many people that are super abortion minded, they know no matter what you say, I'm not changing my mind. And yet at the end of the day, with a lot of prayer and, just planting seeds of truth, it's amazing how many women do change their mind. Obviously, it would be great if it was 100%, but, obviously we can't control that.
Right.
But just the fact that we have an opportunity to tell them the truth, help them to understand the decision that they're about to make and how it's most likely going to impact them long term.
Right.
And then also, if nothing else, we are praying for them. And we have seen women on the backside that we thought when they left there, like, we're heading to the abortion clinic right now, and to find out that they decided to choose life. It's such a rewarding feeling. I don't think there's anything like it.
And there isn't.
Right.
I have my ministry is 40 Days for Life. So we are outside praying, and so a lot of times, we have the honor of escorting a lady or families into First Choice. But because First Choice is a medical center, it's actually a clinic with nurses and doctors. You're under the Hippocratic Oath. You are not allowed to release information. So if one of their patients decides, you know what, I've decided to keep my baby, we will never know about it because
we can't share that
because you
information.
can't share information.
Unless if they sign off. We do we've had amazing donors in different areas, and oftentimes women will say yes, they are willing to share their story.
Right.
Then it's obviously different, but still it has to be them sharing their story as opposed to us sharing their story.
Yes.
Obviously we can still use case scenarios and not reveal who they are just because there are very typical things. And even with a lot of the women that come in, they're dealing crisis. I think that's where we get the name crisis, because most of the women that we see are facing a crisis in certain ways, even if they're wanting to keep their child, trying to figure out how they're going to possibly be able to do that and be able to come alongside them is rewarding as well. But it's amazing how many women say, yeah, you'll help me for today, but who's going to be here for me in 3 years and 4 years and 5 years?
Now that's I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That is the big complaint from a lot of people who are perhaps pro-choice, right? They claim that, well, you guys, you care about the baby in the womb, but once the baby is born, it's forget about it. Well, I want you to know that's absolutely not true.
I agree.
I mean, that's absolutely. In fact, you've got a wall of baby pictures to prove it. But the point is that, yes, absolutely. In order to address your need, we have to do the immediate concern, whether
Correct.
it's housing, right? Whether it's finances, whether it's material needs,
Or security.
or security. Yeah, that's a big issue. We live in a city where there's some young ladies that are in an industry where bad things happen, and so security is an issue. Listen, First Choice is there for them. So but once you have that child, right, and you still need help, there's First Choice is still there.
We are there for the rest of your life, is what I tell girls all the time. I'm even still counseling girls outside. I just had a girl that came in for abortion pill reversal, and obviously decided to keep her child. And I just dropped off a whole bunch of stuff to her yesterday. I'm like, tell me what you need. She has older children that also are in need of help. And what's so great about our community is I can reach out to our prayer warriors, people that support and say, hey, we need this. And it's amazing how people show up and provide the things that they need. Wow. There's another girl that severe crisis. Her conception was not consensual, and just to be able to walk alongside her, even though all of her family was encouraging her towards an abortion, being able to have that personal contact, and for her to know that I'm not going anywhere. She can call me at any point in time, even in the middle of the night, and I will be there for her.
And that's just one of the advocates at First Choice,
Right.
and there's a bunch. And so maybe that's you today. Maybe you're driving around and listening to this broadcast, and you say, you know what? Listen, I'm pregnant. I don't have any answers, and I got a lot of problems, and I really need someone to talk to who's not interested in my money. I've got issues. Listen, here's a number for you to call. The number is 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. And call them, and they're not going to charge you a dime.
No, not one thing.
No, not a penny. And you can sit with them. It's a beautiful facility, by the way. And you can sit with them and talk with them about what you're facing.
Right.
So that you can find out all of your options, one of which is adoption, which takes me to the Olympics.
Yes.
To the Olympics. Now, everybody's know the Olympics is going on.
Correct.
And there was an interview done recently with Simone Biles. Now, if you know Simone, she is the most decorated gymnast
Amazing girl
in the world.
Yeah.
Right? Got more medals. She walks around. So many medals, her head bobs down because there's just so many medals around her neck. Right? And she was asked the question by, I think it's Today Magazine, was asked, fill in the blank, if not for blank, I would not be here today, right? That was the question. She then said, who is that person? And she said, if it weren't for my parents and adoption, I wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Now, isn't that amazing?
It is, but I want to even take it one step further, because I'm assuming when she's referring to her parents, she's referring to her grandparents who raised her. With that being said, as a mom who has adopted 8 children, I also equally credit their biological moms who are willing to go through the 9 months to give
Right.
birth to their children. And I'm so grateful each and every day for my beautiful children, because I know their mom loved them enough to at least give them birth, knowing in their circumstances the odds of them being able to parent them outside the womb was slim to none. And yet they absolutely chose to go forward with that.
Well, let me ask you. And little technical difficulties
Sorry.
right there on the Fight for Life radio broadcast. But let me get this straight. I think we missed something. You have how many adopted children?
I have 8 adopted children. Mine were adopted differently. Mine were adopted through the foster system. And that's where a lot of people get freaked out too, because most women, when they think, well, I could never give my child up for adoption, because they see the foster system as being a messed up system. And having been through it, gone through it, I would have to agree with that. There's a lot of issues with the foster system. But a parent can actually sit down, meet the family, be involved in the child's life. It can be a fully open adoption if they want to. And most women are just completely misinformed on what that adoption situation would look like. One of my close friends, I know she would be okay with me sharing her name. Her name is Joanna. And many years ago, she was not in a great situation, and she chose to give her oldest daughter up for adoption. Now she's married. She's got 2 kids. She's has an amazing life, honoring God, doing all kinds of things. But she's still been able to maintain contact with her oldest daughter. She was able to go to birthday parties, school activities, and events. A couple years ago, she went to her graduation, and she hasn't had to live with the trauma of abortion, which many women also are fearful of coming in for fear that they're going to be judged. And I don't want to ask the question, or even for people to think that I was considering that. They would rather try and do it in the dark. And unfortunately, we know nothing stays in the dark.
Exactly.
It is a very traumatic event that most women think, and they believe the lie, that I can just do this thing and move on with my life like nothing ever happened. And that's not true for anyone. It impacts them in 1,000 different ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, all the different situations. And that's why it's so imperative that women come in and have the conversation and be presented their options. And we always tell them to, regardless of what they decide, we're going to love them, because as Christians, we're required to love all people. And yet, because we love them, we want them to have the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Right,
and yeah, they get to live with their choices and circumstances, but it does give me peace knowing that it's out of my hands, that I've given them all the truth and information, that I'm going to pray for them, and that I need to allow God to work on their heart and allow the Holy Spirit to do what the Holy Spirit does, And so I do feel blessed to be there, to be with these courageous women who work beside me. But to see women walk in faith, and it's amazing how many women will sit there and say, I know it's the wrong thing to do, and I know it's against what God says, but I'm going to do it anyway, whether they choose to or not. But I feel like when we're able to give them the resources, when we're able to show them what they might be dealing with, whether it's cancers or all the different side effects, it really does make an impact, which is why it's so crucial for them to come in and see us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned something a moment ago that it's gone so underplayed, and that's abortion pill reversal. You had, and one of the ladies that you were dealing with had a successful,
Reversal.
Account reversal. And that is, to me, that is something that's absolutely amazing. First of all, the only place in Nevada where you can have that done is First Choice Pregnancy Services. You can't go to a hospital. The doctors won't touch it. They would say, well, listen, you've already taken I call it poison, RU46 regimen, or Mifeprex, or whatever it's called.
Mifepristone. Yeah.
Or mifepristone, whatever it's called. It's still poison.
Correct.
And the amazing miracle that potentially could occur is women could take the first part of that regimen, that poison, and change their mind, call First Choice, and now immediately, you have to be rushed to the hospital. Our doctor takes over, and I'm hoping I have this correct. I believe there's over 200 abortion reversals from that pill. Well, it's a 2-pill thing, but 200 children that are alive today. Because First Choice does abortion pill reversal.
Right.
And that's it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. What's more mind-boggling to me, too, is the fact of how many women aren't even aware that that's a possibility. Most women feel very defeated when they've started. They think, well, I've already started it. I have no other option. Or they think there's going to be something wrong with my child. If I'm not mistaken, every child we've been able to save has been completely healthy, normal functioning and stuff, too. And that's another lie people believe too. With the chemical abortion, most women believe, oh, it's safe. It's just like whatever. And they don't realize they're 10 times more likely to die of a chemical abortion than a surgical abortion. And most of the women that I've talked to, they're like, I feel like I was lied to. They told me it was going to be easy. They told me it's going to be safe. And most of the women that I've talked to that have experienced a chemical abortion, they're like, worst experience of my life. They're like, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to have to go through that again. You know? So, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and most people don't realize that, first of all, most women don't even realize that it is a two-step process for the chemical abortion. And if we can get to them, if there's still a heartbeat, because the first pill, what it does is it cuts off nutrients and blood supply to the baby. Our doctor just basically prescribes a bunch of food to the baby. So we've been able to save all kinds of babies, and it's so rewarding to see.
Yeah, to me, that's just a miracle of modern science.
True.
And it speaks to the grace of God towards you young ladies who thought they've done something that's irreversible. But you know what? Guess what? First Choice is there in your emergency right now. Whether it's you've taken RU46, or maybe it's something else. Maybe you're in an impossible situation. Please take this number down. Give First Choice a call. Talk to the ladies there. It will not cost you a dime, and it could make every difference in the world for you, your child, your family. Give them a call. The number 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. Maybe you'll luck out and get Melisa there to talk with you about.
You can request me. I will come in specially for you, which is also fun too. It's amazing how many times I wasn't scheduled to be at work, or I thought I had something else going on, and I get called in at the last second. And it's amazing how God orchestrates the right person at the right time. Like, there's other women that are amazing advocates, and it's like they were meant to be in that room with that person because they connect. One woman in particular, she came in and she was not happy with the one advocate that was in with her, who's an amazing woman. She's an amazing advocate, but I think she needed to hear that. And when I went in, she's like, I don't want to hear this stuff again. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Come to find out, she had been through the foster system. And because I've adopted children, I was able to relate to her on a completely different level, where this other amazing advocate wouldn't have been able to. But then same thing, we've been able to tag team off of each other, and how they're able to hear it from different people. It's kind of like, I can't relate with some women because I haven't ever experienced the trauma of an abortion, where there's other women at the clinic that have, and they're able to come in, and like, I've been there, and I know that's hard, but trust me, if I could go back and change it, I would change it. And it's so cool how God cares about all the little details, and he's able to orchestrate the things to put the person in the right room for the right time, to give them the answers that they need.
Wow.
It's incredible.
It's to be honest with you, First Choice is just simply a place where miracles occur. And the incredible thing, that First Choice has been, I think this is their 20th year that they're going to be open, right? This is the big 2-0 coming up. By the way, there's a banquet coming up on October 4th. Yeah. And you want to be part of that fundraiser. So you want to come and listen. It's going to be a wonderful meal. It's going to be everything. You want to give First Choice a call. Get your tickets lined up. I want to say the website is fcpschampions.com.
You know what? You would know more than me.
You know what? Deborah's the executive director is listening, and she finds out that I blew the website. But give them a call and find out. Get more information about First Choice's banquet that's coming up on October 4th, and make sure you're a part of it. And typically, some of the clients that have gone through and now are either very pregnant or holding their baby, you get to see sometimes the fruit of the ministry of where your dollars and donations go.
Right.
And it's amazing because First Choice doesn't take a dime from the government.
Right.
Doesn't take a dime for the government. It's basically a charity hospital. A charity hospital for pregnant women. That's basically what it is. And listen, there's going to be a silent auction. It's going to be really, really nice. Dress nice. You got to look good.
It's incredible.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, just come. But but you want. I mean, it's really, really nice. So and you're going to meet some wonderful, wonderful people. And I think I see Brad and Chris Dalia from KSOS over there. I think every year they're there, and so many notable people. But and a lot of politicians. It's election year, so you're going to see some politicos sitting around some tables around there, and so you get to know some people, get to talk to folks. It's just wonderful, wonderful. Give First Choice a call. Get your table reserved. Right now, you get a table of 10, and bring your church, bring all your friends, and give them a call, 702-294-2273, and say, listen, I know the banquet's coming up October 4th. Give me some more information, and be a part of it, and help. Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm behind the scenes. Now it's not behind the scenes anymore, but we're trying really hard to open a second First Choice Pregnancy Services. Listen, how wonderful would it be when young ladies do a search, I was about to say in the yellow pages, when they do a search, right? We talked about how old we are, right? There was white pages too. I don't know if y'all know that, but anyway, how about listen? If they did a search and they found more pregnancy help centers than they did abortion facilities, how wonderful would that be? How wonderful would that be? So we're prayerfully trying to make it happen so that there is a second First Choice Pregnancy Service right here in Las Vegas, and then maybe spread throughout the entire state of Nevada and then across the nation. Focus on the Family years ago gave First Choice an award. And in that award, it said that First Choice was the model crisis pregnancy center in the nation. In the nation. And it's right here in Las Vegas, and it's absolutely free. Mm-hmm. Absolutely free because of the loving donations of you folks that are out there, you kind folks. So listen, and by the way, for those of you who sit on boards, your corporate, listen, you give philanthropic giving every quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, right? And you always sponsoring worthy organizations. Listen, make First Choice part of your annual giving. And listen, if you're not blessed at the end of the following year because of what you can give Ken Wilson a call and say, listen, I want my money back. And we'll talk about it. But listen, God is going to bless you. Whether you're the $5 a month giver or the $5,000 a month giver, God is going to bless you for what you are able to do for these young ladies. And you know what the amazing thing is? Wouldn't it be amazing that over, since they've started, if they had, 450 babies that are alive today, wouldn't it be amazing? 450 families. But it's not 450 families. It's not even 4,500 families, which would be staggering. Mm-hmm. A lot of pregnancy help centers around the nation would love to know that they've, nearly 5,000 children are alive and blessed because of their ministry. But it's not even that. First Choice Pregnancy Services is cresting 45,000 birthdays since they've... Wrap your head around that number. They have a wall of baby pictures. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And you can go and see it yourself. And if you just go down to First Choice Pregnancy Services, they're about to hit 45,000. And the amazing thing is, those are the ones they know about.
Right.
And so you guaranteed it's probably well over 50,000. Amazing. There used to be an abortion facility right next door to you. I know. They gave up.
We have all kinds of...
They gave up. They closed. Yes, they went somewhere else, but they closed. We said, well, we can't be next to First Choice. They're cutting into our business.
Yeah, but we still have people that are showing up thinking that they're at the abortion clinic.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing because God brings people in, for sure.
They thought that business would go down. Business has increased.
It's true.
And so God is blessing. And you can be a part of this blessing. And so I encourage you, give First Choice a call, 702-294-CARE, 702-294-2273, and say, listen, I don't know, what is this, a free clinic? Nobody's free ultrasound, free pregnancy test, free counts, free love for people that come in because they need to be loved on.
Right.
Find out about adoption services from the experts. Melisa has 8.
Well, that's the thing, too. Sometimes women are coming in and they are planning on keeping their child. But what's amazing to me, though, is in every situation, there's very few people that come in that are Christians, even if they were born in a church, raised in a church. Before I started being an advocate for First Choice, I used to pray for more opportunities to present the gospel and everything else and would be seeking out that. I know every single day I go to First Choice, I have an opportunity to plant seeds. And obviously God's going to do with it what he wants. But it's amazing to me when you ask people what it means to be a Christian, who goes to heaven and who goes to hell, how many people say, oh, good people go to heaven and bad people go to hell. It's shocking to me. And so even for people that were raised in the church, but it's amazing how many people that were raised in the church that are planning to have an abortion. How we get to sit down and really talk about what the gospel is and for them to get their questions answered. So not only are babies being saved physically, but by the grace of God, there's a possibility that some of these women are being saved, and they're being saved eternally, them and their children too. And we don't know. Either the Bible is true or it's not. There's no in between. And if the Bible is true, we are going to be blessed when we're honoring him with our time, with our finances, all the way across the board. And so it's without question.
Absolutely. And maybe you'd like to be a part of this blessing. Maybe you say, well, listen, I'm not the richest person in the world, but I got to volunteer my time.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe God is calling you to, put your heart out towards these young ladies who really don't feel that there's an answer for them out there, but maybe you have an answer for them.
Right.
And First Choice is looking for all kinds of volunteers, whether it's administrative or whether maybe you have some medical expertise. It doesn't.
Or
engineering.
security. We always need security.
It doesn't matter. Listen, give them a call. Say, listen, I want to volunteer. I don't know, maybe it's once a day, once a week, once a month, whatever it is.
Right.
702-294-CARE. And listen to this. We've come to the end of the show. Melisa.
Oh, my goodness.
It's already over. So last week, 30 pregnancy tests and 25 ultrasounds were done, I believe, or approximately, in case Debbie's listening. Folks, it's been wonderful. God bless you. It has been, Melisa, thank you for coming today. And,
pleasure to be here.
We will talk with y'all next week.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining your ambassadors for the unborn on the Fight for Life radio, today and every Thursday on KKVV 1060 AM, the best news radio, the gospel airship.
If you'd like to support the cause of saving unborn babies, or if you have a question you'd like us to answer on the air, go to fcpsfriends.org or call us at 702-294-CARE. Again, that number is 702-294-2273.
On behalf of his little ones, thank you and God bless.